Everyone wants this. Everyone wants a silver bullet. Here's this thing. We're going to buy this piece of software. It's going to solve all of our problems. And invariably it doesn't. Small steps, iterative improvement. You know what? If what you're doing is delivering results, keep doing it until it stops delivering results. My name's Lawrence. I'm one of the founders of a company called Parallax. We're a digital consultancy. We kind of, I don't know, man, where do you want me to start? We started our business 15 years ago. It was me and a couple of friends sat in our living room in a flat in a northern town in England. Look, we just really love doing interesting things with technology, and we kind of found that there were a few people that maybe would actually buy some of those things that we quite like doing using technology. And then we started hiring a few people. And then it was like, it just kind of got out of hand, if I'm really honest. So we're 5 people now, something like that. Teams spread all across, kind of design, software development, user experience, delivery, quality management, all those kind of things. But at the heart of what we kind of do, it's still very much the same thing. We love doing weird and wonderful things with tech. We love things that kind of make a bit of a difference to the companies that we're working with, kind of help drive positive. That's kind of probably what we do in a nutshell. But our main areas of expertise and focus at the moment, some really interesting use cases in there with some really big companies that we're working with. So, some FTSE 100 companies in there as well, which is great. We've been playing with AIs and kind of LLMs since pre-ChatGPT. So it's been a long time coming, but we're at that point now where I think all of that experience that we've got, and talk about experience. Experience just means that you've done it wrong enough times that you now know how to do it right. But all of that experience is starting to pay off in that we're able to actually bring some of these projects through to production environments, and actually leverage some of the abilities that these things are able to do. And the other area of kind of main focus for us is in and around. So we develop a lot of connected technology that has got some kind of real world thing going on. Mostly because that's what I'm personally sort of quite fascinated by. I really love the idea of pressing a button on my phone and like something happening in the wider world. We work on quite a few smart connected products with customers. So they come to us and they're like, "Hey, we're building a thing. Can you make it internet connected?" And we're like, "Yeah, we can do that." You probably wanted a short introduction, but you got the long one.
Really cool. Yeah, thank you very much. Really cool. Really cool. So talk me through a little bit more about who's your typical customer, right? And you've mentioned AI and LLM. So maybe some use cases that they use, maybe some examples that you've already implemented or something that is trending right now that you're looking into. I would like to know a little bit about your target customer and how they should use your services and innovate this year.
So I don't know if we have a target customer, and I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's wrong. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to run a business, but it's kind of how we tend to run ours. Pretty sector agnostic. So we don't kind of focus down on a particular sector. In fact, often the opposite becomes true, because the work that we do with our customers drives and runs sometimes quite significant parts of their businesses. So actually they would be very upset if we started working with their competitors, and that makes it quite difficult to have a sector specialism. We do lots of stuff in car parking. Car parking client I've worked with for 10 plus years. If I go and work with their competitors, they're going to be really angry. So it's difficult to nail down a really specific type of customer for us. Say the sweet spot for us is always people who've got a challenge that we can help them solve. One of the problems that we run into on the other end of that is because of the origins of the company. We're good at tech. We like doing interesting tech things. And understanding and finding those people that are a really good fit for us to work with, where we can deliver the most value, is much harder than it sounds. You have to go and talk to people and actually, I guess, see if you're mutually passionate about the kind of problems that they're trying to solve to understand if they're a good fit. You mentioned AI and LLM type stuff. Yeah, look, me personally, I'm a bit of an AI skeptic, or at least I think I was up until quite recently. We've been working on stuff in and around LLMs for quite a few years now. And I think up until, I think if I look back at like maybe May 2024, I was probably at the point where I thought it was just a load of rubbish. I didn't really think it was something that was going to My opinion on that's massively changed since then, because some of the new tooling and some of the new products that are coming out are truly transformational. Even, I don't know, I'd probably give like some of Cursor IDE's functionality a bit of a shout out. I mean, if you program on a regular basis and you kind of write, that's a tool that can triple your productivity. It's literally 3 times, and that is insane. I took a piece of software that it was sort of not a huge piece of software, but something that took a few weeks to write, and rewrote it, wrote a much better version. Instead of weeks, it took me a couple of evenings. So there's a lot of really exciting stuff in and around AIs and LLMs, but I think you need to kind of be using them for the right purpose. People think that AI means that you have a piece of software that's inherently magic, right? You're like, oh, press the magic button, and then everyone, it's probably me in May, to be honest, everyone's really disappointed when the magic doesn't magically happen. But if you ask it in the right way, it will, in fact, produce magic. It's just you have to put a little bit of work in to kind of get something back from it. Do you want me to talk about some specifics around stuff that we're...
I think I would like to focus, that initial growth as a company and what's been recently working for you in terms of finding yourself new clients and really introducing them to possibilities that all that AI innovation could bring and how they could speed up their workflow and what they do. What's been working, let's say, in 2024 for you guys? How did you start those new conversations? How did you find new business?
We found new business tough in 2024.
Good. Yeah, it's you're not on your own in this. I've spoke to many companies. Obviously, that's what we do, and everyone struggled, right? Prospecting became really difficult, and gaining that trust and new business opportunities and meetings, not easy. But what worked? Let's start with this. What worked for you guys?
Honestly, I would say what worked for us from a business development perspective in 2024 was absolutely nothing. It was a disaster. And I think we've managed to kind of fix that now and kind of figured out how and why. We always have this sort of Achilles heel, I think, that all kinds of owner-managed businesses do, especially when those people are very hands-on in the business. They're still writing code like I do, things like that. We get sucked into projects. Because that's the thing that we really want to do. We want to be there, like making cool things happen with technology, and that's great until a couple of those projects come to an end, or they slow down, or you kind of see some shifts in the market. And when that happens, you then need to kind of go from having your head in a project to going back to sort of, talking to everyone in your network, pushing for some introductions, going to events, meeting people, doing all of those kind of things, and just generally hustling. I think we don't really have a sales strategy, and we don't really tend to sell. The way that our relationships with our clients tend to work is that we meet people, and some of those people we really like, and they also really like us. And then we just work together. We don't really have like here's a particular service in a box that we would like to sell you. It's more about co-creation and collaboration for us. All of that is literally just based on having good relationships with people that you like, but you need to go and find those people. It's like me asking you what your strategy is for finding new friends. You probably don't have one.
Yeah.
Like that would be a bit weird if you did, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it's, how do you go and find more friends that might want to pay you some money?
Oh, okay. So identify that initial prospecting, maybe you found it the most difficult last year, right? Because once you have those conversations and you prove yourself that you just, try to brainstorm some ideas with them, you already have that relationship with them, it probably becomes a little bit easier to turn that into a proposal and a signed deal. Am I right thinking that the prospecting became extremely difficult for bringing that digital innovation?
We're mostly inbound, and the thing that's made inbound more challenging for us over the last year is that the economy has slowed down and people are hiring much less. So a lot of our clients that we've worked with, or a lot of the relationships that we've built, we often work with people across like 2 or 3 jobs across a period of 10 years. Like that's not abnormal for us, because when people move jobs, they tend to take us with them. they've probably gone and got a new job because their new employer was really impressed with all the cool stuff that we worked on with them, and then funnily enough, their new employer wants to talk to us about it. When people aren't job hopping as much, that really reduces the amount of kind of inbound stuff that you get from them. There's going back to the friends analogy. I think once you've solved all of your friends, it's difficult, right? You're like, hey, do you want to solve some more problems together? And they're like, everything works now, though. It's all kind of fine. Like, oh, okay, never mind. Hey, I think 2025 is gonna be different. I'm pretty positive about it. I think we're starting to see some seeds of growth. I think just being incredibly positive is probably going to be key.
All right. Talk me through this. What's you think is going to be different, or maybe there was some new approach that you tried recently, and you see some initial results. What do you think is going to be different in 2025 for you?
I think our approach is different. When you got a team of people and everyone is really, really busy, it's quite difficult to get excited about new work. And it's quite easy to kind of qualify out a lot of stuff that comes through. It puts you in a different kind of mindset as well. It puts you into that kind of mindset, which I don't think is a good one. I'm just speaking sort of openly and honestly about it. You can get to that point where you feel like, new project comes through the door and you're just finding reasons not to do it because you're busy and like everyone else is busy and like, you could talk to them, but like, who's going to do it? Whereas getting into that kind of mindset of actually being hungry for work and being excited about new projects and kind of taking on some of those challenges, it's a mindset shift more than anything. I don't know whether it's going to be massively different in 2025 to how it was in 2024. That for me is probably a bit of a mystery.
But, what you bring as a solution, especially optimizing those workflows, making whatever they do just faster, right? This could open up those conversations, right? If the economy is going to be difficult and hiring is expensive and takes time, you've got a fantastic angle to start those conversations.
Yeah, I think so. I think we saw kind of, especially through the back half of last year, I think we saw a lot of companies reduce their headcount. They kind of made all of those sort of moves that you would make, when the going gets a bit tougher. I think some of those companies will have overreacted, and then from our perspective, where we're a company that people lean on when they want to solve problems quickly with a team that's got experience. I think that probably opens up some opportunities for us because if clients have downsized somewhat, that give it 3-4 months, they're going to be sat on a load of problems that they have no one in-house that can solve them because everybody is really busy with the day-to-day and they're not making any progress. They're not moving forwards. Like they've probably overdone it a little bit. So I think as with everything in life, it is quite cyclical.
Yeah. And have you tried as a company any, those more traditional forms of prospecting, cold outreach, maybe some ads, maybe anything in this respect in digital world that you just went after very specific prospects and ICPs yourself? Have you tried any of that?
Yeah, we sure. We have someone whose entire job is, he wanted to kind of go and do some outbound stuff. And it's cool. It's good. It's exciting. It's fun. I think it's really hard to sell the kind of ticket sizes that we need to from an outbound perspective. And because our pitch is essentially, yes, we can probably help solve that problem. It's really difficult to pitch what we do without there being a problem. Like if you haven't got, we're just not as ubiquitous as, like if you're like a cleaning company and you're like, hey, your office, we'd like to clean it for you. That's really easy. But we're like, hey, we'd like to build some tech for your thing. And they're like, okay, don't know if we've really got any of that. And then we kind of wheel out the case studies, and the case studies are like really, really cross-sector. And they're probably not going to be, we did this thing for your competitor that you'd really like to do, because that's not, we're quite uncomfortable doing that kind of thing. I don't know, man. We've not managed to make outbound work for us, I don't think.
I hear that a lot. A lot of companies say it's difficult, right? And especially because the offer is not super clear of, we do this for that very particular client. That's it. This is the price list. It becomes a little bit more difficult. That's why the only way forward is start building relationships through essentially consultation, which you're not getting paid as your sales process, really, right? That creates more challenges because obviously you need to earn that trust before those companies need to let you in and show you how they're doing things, what are the challenges themselves. And yeah, so Absolutely. How do you think you're going to tackle in a different way in 2025 just to change something, then change that's what you said wasn't as good 2024? How do you think you're going to yourself think differently about this?
Be less insular, shake more trees, go and talk to more people that I know. That's the number one thing. Have conversations with people, actually follow up with them. But like, what I'm not going to do is go and do a load of outbound because I just don't think it works for our business. Either that, I mean, both of these could be true. Either it doesn't work for our business or we're just terrible at it. I mean, that could also be totally a thing.
Yeah, there are many possibilities, but absolutely, yeah. The typical outbound, it's dying. In my opinion, it's not there. You look at your inbox or LinkedIn. I'd hardly ever log into LinkedIn because there was 25 of the same messages waiting for me, right? And I don't know, those people think that this time they're gonna get some of my attention because they've just pitched something and asked for 45 minutes of my time this week or next, right? And yeah, and I think that's why outbound doesn't work for a lot of companies. They just use outdated templates that worked 3 years ago, absolutely fine. But anyone can do it now. And problem with this is, those lead gen agencies and businesses doing that themselves, they just probably have no clue how many of those messages a day, executives get every single day.
We tried using a lead gen sort of outsourced agency kind of type outfit 6-7 years ago or something, and we got nothing from it. So,
Really?
Like, I don't think outbound has ever really worked in our industry. I think I've been to a couple of meetings that we've kind of managed to bag from a bit of an outbound approach, and the meetings made me really feel uncomfortable because you'd sit down and like, sort of prospective clients like, okay, and why are you here? And you're like, what do you mean why am I here? You're going to tell us all about the stuff that you want us to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, it puts me so far outside my comfort zone. I don't really know what to do with it.
Yeah. Okay. If you could have one wish for 2025 for you guys, what would that be? What would you like more of? Yeah, if I'll give you 2 million quid, hey, go and spend it on something that your business needs, what would that be this year?
I think like in an ideal world, probably 4 clients that want to spend about £500,000 each over the course of the year. Put those onto our current roster of people that we're working with, and they'll be really happy and we'll do great work with them, and they'll be really exciting. We're the kind of business that grows relatively conservatively. We're not going to double in a year. It's just not sort of how we do stuff. It might be possible to do that. The downside is that I think we'd sacrifice quality, and that's something that we're known for. And you can only really sacrifice that once before people stop thinking of you as a good, safe pair of hands to work on something with.
Okay, and tell me, in those companies, obviously, I take it that $500,000 is not your very first proposal, or you probably have something to land the client, and then you expand them through additional services. What is that one thing from all your experience in working with businesses that pretty much every business should look into developing within their team, or hiring a company like yours to modernize, just to kind of innovate themselves and get better? Because obviously 2025 is here, and give it another 2 years, and those companies that don't do that, right, they're going to be behind. The customer service is going to be slower. The workflow is going to be not matched with those little bit more, faster companies, those kind of startup style, when they just move faster and they innovate fast. What is the one thing that every company should now look into and start thinking about this year?
I think involving people in the definition of what problems an organization or a company has, rather than just looking for partners to help work on the solution to a problem that you've identified, might be a good idea. I see this in a lot of businesses where there's a lot of really low-hanging fruit from a technology perspective, and they're not identifying that low-hanging fruit because they don't necessarily understand the breadth of capabilities that are out there. A lot of that stuff doesn't have anything to do with what we necessarily do as a business or what we offer. It's just about getting someone who's like a technologist. I don't really know what the word for that is, but getting someone in the room who can kind of understand those business processes, understand those flows, quickly, and then be able to sort of marry that up in their head with capabilities of, either software that already exists or, stuff that's easy to integrate with small integration layers. Those kind of things can be really transformational for businesses. You sometimes see businesses where people are just spending hours and hours doing essentially mindless admin. And we're sat on the edge of this really, really cool kind of technology precipice at the moment, where I mentioned earlier on, I've been using AI to help me write code, and I can suddenly get stuff done 3 times quicker. So what that means is that before you kind of went, 10% of all this manual work is worth the effort automating it. But now that 10% has become 30%. And that's really exciting. So I think just getting someone to come in and just have a bit of a look and a bit of a poke around and just getting a second opinion on tech side of your business can be really, really valuable. It doesn't necessarily have to be, I've got a problem and I'd like you to solve it. You can get quite a lot of the way there by just having a chat.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably, I think that's where a lot of opportunities lie for a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
Not being afraid to take small steps towards perfection. Like everyone wants this. Everyone wants the silver bullet. Here's this thing. We're going to buy this piece of software. It's going to solve all of our problems. And invariably it doesn't.
Yeah.
Small steps, iterative improvement. You know what? If what you're doing is delivering results, keep doing it until it stops delivering results. Until you get to the point where
and that's your offer. That's your I'm a cleaner. I want to go in and clean your office offer, right?
Yeah.
A lot of businesses need this, right? And you have good understanding of what tech can bring. You've worked with businesses, so you know where they should. Okay, if you guys are doing for 3 hours a day, copying this spreadsheet to this spreadsheet manually, you're wasting, right, those 3 hours, because that could be automated. And I think office like this will be the best going forward, right? The businesses need that, but they are a bit too young, or maybe not, brave enough to hire a dedicated person, full-time employee that could take care of this. And I think that's why businesses should really change the way they think about, okay, I don't want to pitch you for $500,000. I want to pitch you a 2-week deep consultation, very easy to digest financially. And after that, I'll tell you exactly how you can save tens, hundreds of thousands of pounds a year by automating things. So if businesses are interested in stuff like that, where could they find you? Where could they find your company and what you guys do?
As in how would they find us? I mean,
yeah, you can give us the website, or if there is some social media that you're pushing, please mention that, and obviously we'll leave the links as well.
Yeah, Parallax. Our website weirdly is at PARALL.AX, which always causes a lot of confusion on the phone. But yeah, we managed to buy a domain in the Island Islands off a guy who I think he has like some sheep on like a little island. It's the .ax domain name. And it's all very, very strange. But yeah, it's literally just Parallax with a dot between the L and the A.
There'll be a link here. Don't worry. So we'll leave the link for those who are interested.
It's interesting because I think you might have actually helped me maybe come up with what our proposition actually does look like just by making me talk to myself for a while.
Here we go. Great to hear. And on that very positive note, thank you very much for joining me on this episode. I'm really grateful that you joined and shared all your experience. Thanks a lot.